Hi, welcome to the second part of this three-part series about Tuff trays. Actually, the initial thought about Tuff trays came to me when Sally Wright said she'd send me a copy of her book, 50 Fantastic Ideas for Tuff Trays. And it just really inspired me to think about how we use these in early years classrooms and how I don't see them as much throughout primary schools as the children get older. I think they're a fantastic tool that can be used throughout any range of ages. Now, in this video I ask Sally to share with us some of her most successful Tuff trays and what her thoughts are on the invitation to play. Enjoy!
So James, you wanted me to explain to your listeners why I think having a Tuff tray is such a useful zone, area of provision in any setting, a classroom, nursery, childminder setting. Where do I begin? They are versatile. They're really easy to store, really easy to clean. They can be used for all sorts of activities. You know, it's not just about messy and sensory play. You can use them for small world provocations. We've used them for reading nooks, for dens, mark making, creative, music. We use our Tuff trays for everything. So why wouldn't you have one in your setting? You can just buy a cheap cement mixing tray from one of the builders companies. They're less than £15, or you can buy just the trays and stand them on anything. I haven't got a stand here at my childminder setting. I just use a small table to store it on. So, you know, they're really economical and hard wearing, but more importantly than that is they do promote collaborative play. Children are stood around the Tuff tray. They're having to work together, having to negotiate space, negotiate the sharing of resources without any adult intervention. This is a skill that they're learning themselves. So they're stood around the Tuff tray, they're doing all that, but also there's really enriched communication and language skills coming from working around the Tuff tray, because like I say, they're negotiating. Can you pass me that? Can you do this? I'm making this, I'm making that. It's a fantastic resource on so many levels. So James, you've asked me to talk about what I consider to be our most successful Tuff tray activities. It's a really tricky question, to be fair, because, you know, how do you measure success? So for me, a successful Tuff tray is when I have prepared an invitation for the children, whatever it is, anything, and then I'm observing the children and I see them take it to a place where I never even would have considered being possible. So they take it to their own new level of learning. That means they're exploring through play, they're learning. This isn't anything I've done, they've led their own play. So that firstly is a really successful tray. Also, when I look at the Tuff tray activities and I see a team member or myself get invited into the play by the child, and you observe wonderful scaffolding, which, you know, it doesn't happen on every tray, it doesn't happen all the time, because we don't want to intervene and interfere and make an activity become adult-led. So we're standing by, we're always on guard, ready, waiting for the children to inquire, ask us for help, invite us into the play. Just, you know, sometimes it's just a look, and then we know they're wanting us to step in and come and join them, play alongside them. So that's successful, when the children are inviting you to play alongside them and inviting them into their learning. And especially when you can take it to a new level and you can actually teach them something. It's capturing them teaching moments using the Tuff tray, which is really what defines what's successful. I mean, we have lots of trays that we share online on our Facebook page, and some are really successful in terms of it's capturing the adults' attention, the practitioners, and we're getting lots of likes and supports and wows, and this is great, feeling so inspired. But that doesn't necessarily represent what's a good Tuff tray. Some of the most simplest of trays, for example, when we put soap bottles out with a bar of soap and a sponge, that activity was amazing. No, it didn't get any attention off Facebook. No, but it didn't trigger anything in any of the practitioners' minds. But to be there and observe it, it worked so well for the children. The children were engaged throughout the session. They took it on so many different levels. First they started by just working out how to use the soap dispensers. Then they discovered that the soap with the water makes it foamy on their hands, and then they discovered that they could use the sponges and create suds upon suds upon. So that was amazing. It didn't get many likes on Facebook. Whereas on the other hand, another activity we did was we've been exploring powder paint and colour and paints, and we put poster paint inside Play-Doh balls. Now, it had the surprise element, it had the wow factor for the children, but actually, in terms of a tough tray activity, it kind of was a one-hit wonder. It was done and dusted over quickly, but that ignited something in the practitioners. That's a success. It's got them thinking, what can we do, what can we incorporate? They're all successful. You can't choose any one over the other. They're all successful. That's really not answering your question, but that kind of is the answer. Sorry, James.
Thank you, Sally. That was really interesting and a really good food for thought to think that it's all about the invitation to play, and actually the prettiest trays aren't necessarily the most successful. And I think we often find that with anything to do with Pinterest or Facebook, that actually the amount of likes that we get from adults and practitioners are probably not always reflective on the interest and engagement that we see from the children on a day-to-day basis. So the third video coming up is all about contributions from the community. So in this video I'll be sharing lots and lots of ideas and some of the community from Facebook and from other social media, their favourite successful trays. If you're interested in reading Sally's book, I'll put a link in the item description. If you click through on that, it's an affiliate link, so you're supporting my channel. It's not costing you any more, and it's helping pay for some more of these videos.